What's going on, guys? This is going to be a very quick video for my brethren and sistren who are forced to use Windows for some god-awful reason and who still need to connect to Unix machines or use SSH, OpenSSH, and need a client on Windows. The most popular client is Putty. I'm just going to show you how to download and use that, and we're also going to cover key generation very quickly. So you'll be able to simply create some keys here, import them in your server and put them in the authorized keys file, and then log in with key-based SSH login on the remote server. We're going to start by just going to the Putty home website. If you just search on DuckDuckGo or Xquick or something for Putty, this will be one of the first results. It's the author's website, Chiark. I still don't know how to say that. It's been 10 years. greenend.org.uk. His home directory, Putty, and then download HTML or just the download link at the top. And we'll need two of these utilities. This is sort of a modular thing. So we will download Putty and the key generator, so Putty Gen, and that's the key gen utility. So we will download these. And Putty Gen, we'll keep these. Nice fast download. And you can see I've got these utilities downloaded now. And Putty, just for those of you that don't know, looks like this. And this will be the interface that you use to connect to the remote server. And the Putty key generation utility looks like this. You can select the type. This is fine. An RSA key is fine. 2048. Yeah, 4096. I mean, this is just going to be a temporary key for me because I'm just doing this on a test machine. But if you're using this for Rizzle, you probably want 4096 bits. Generate. It'll ask you to move the mouse around. You can do all kinds of things. It just tries to collect entropy from the system. Of course, I'm sure there's some mathematical way to model human movements, so it's probably all for naught. Humans probably make some very specific kind of round motion or what have you. Anyway, once this is done, I'll come back here. So here you can add a comment to your key and give it a passphrase. If you're going to be using this key for anything, I'm including just like a 10-minute test like I'm doing right now, you absolutely want to protect your key with a passphrase, because otherwise anyone who steals your laptop or gets into your computer and can copy files can access every computer, well, any user on a remote machine that this key gives you access to. So you always want to protect stuff with a passphrase. I'm going to use a very strong one again. Yours should be a real passphrase, so we're talking about like 4 to 5 random words strung together, some numbers maybe, perhaps a symbol if you've got a big brain. So we've got this. We're going to save this key. We'll just use it the same directory that we used before. So we'll save the public and the private key. This is a key pair. I'll explain a little bit more in a second. So we'll call this IDRSA pub in the same directory, and then we'll save the private one. We'll call it IDRSA without anything at the end. This is just a standard naming convention for this. And that should be it. So this actually is already the public key that we'll need to paste. If you just paste this into a notepad or something else. Okay, we've got our pasted key here. Now we're going to have to move this public key here, the one that we just pasted, the thing that's in this field up here, to into the authorized keys file on the server. That's sort of the other half of this. So you've got two keys. It's a key pair, a public key and a private key. They're sort of mathematically entwined. Go read up on that if you don't know it. This 6-minute video is not enough time to explain this. But you've got this key pair, the part that you share with everything. So every server you want to log in on, you can send this via email. You don't have to keep it safe at all. I mean, it's public information. Sorry, that's your public key. I said that right. And then the private key is the thing that you never share with anyone. You keep it on your machine. So if this is, let's say, your laptop that you're generating this on, you keep the private key on your laptop, never share it, make it unreadable to all other users, etc. And you place the public part of the key, the public key, out onto the servers you want to log into. Okay, so now I have pasted my public key here into the Unix server, the FreeBSD server that I'm going to be connecting to. So that would be in the home directory of the user I want to log in as, in the .ssh, so the hidden SSH directory, in a file called authorized_keys. I have another video on this for the specifics. I'm really just showing you the Putty setup right now. Enter your server's IP address. We're running SSH on port 443 so that we can get out through whatever firewall might be present. And we're going to go to keys. SSH auth. Browse for this file. And let's try it. So host key, right? Of course you're double checking this the first time that you connect, right? Yeah, me neither. Obviously, if the host key ever changes, you're probably being man-in-the-middled, so it'll warn you if the host key ever changes, but the first time you have to accept the fingerprint for the host key of the server you're connecting to. We'll log in here as root, and we're using our key here, and hallelujah, we're logged in. I think that's it for this video. So basically, what you may have to do on the, I'll just show you the SSH config since you're already here on the remote end. Nano, because I am hardcore like that, would be etc sshd config. And just so you see how I have it configured here, I'm going to tell you how not to do what I just did. So we're listening on 443. I like to do this for machines that I work on just because, well, this is going to be a web server, like a test web server anyway. 443 is nice because you can get out, so a lot of coffee shops or hospitals, other institutions where you're going to be like sitting in a waiting room trying to do some stuff, will block everything that isn't 80 or 443, so HTTP or HTTPS. Everyone's got to still check their Facebook securely, right? So I run a lot of SSHD, so the daemons, a lot of SSH servers on port 443 so that I can get to them from anywhere. It's really annoying if you're like, you have some kind of emergency, you pull over on the side of the road, run into a coffee shop, and realize SSH is running on port 22 and you can't get to it from where you are, and you have to like find a place that will allow you to come out, try to hit port 22 on a remote server. Okay, so that's why I run stuff on 443 occasionally. All this stuff, not so interesting. Here's what I recommend you do. Permit root login. By default, this is no, and I really recommend that you keep it set to no. What I'm doing here is literally just for this little demo, so I can quickly show you how to log in. So I would leave this commented, which would mean that it's actually no. I changed this to yes. Okay, so don't permit root login. These are the defaults anyway, so public key authentication. And I believe in the BSDs, password authentication is already turned off. You can see that by default, password authentication is set to no, so you just can't log in with a password. It's pub key only, and no logins en route. So when you set this up yourself, that's really all you'll want to change. On the BSDs, the Linux config by default is a little bit different. But when you set this up, make sure you have a user set up, create an SSH directory for that user, add an authorized keys file, and add whatever key that you want to log in as that user with, and then just change your port here, and you should be all set. That's really all it takes. Change the port, you're good to go. Okay, so that concludes this little tutorial. From now on, I'm just going to be working on this server, so I will show you how to set some stuff up next. See you in the next video. And if you have to use Putty, I'm really sorry. It almost pays off to have like just a Linux VM or something so that you have all this stuff working for you natively in a way that isn't so horrible to use. That said, thank you to the guy who wrote Putty and the people that maintain it, because you're the only link for those poor Windows souls. Okay, see you in the next video.